Welcome to Creating with Git. My name is Michael Taggart, and I will be your instructor for this introductory course on Git on the Linux command line. Let's talk a little bit about what this course is, what it isn't, and what our objectives will be. So as I mentioned, this is going to be an intro to Git basics using the Linux command line. There are lots of other great graphical user interfaces for Git as a version control system, but we will be focusing on the command line, the very basics, which will prepare you well if you want to move on and use other, more complex interfaces in the future. We're also going to talk a little bit about using Git for collaboration on projects and how to manage projects using Git. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit about how to use Git with documentation and how to publish your work using tools like GitHub. What this course absolutely is not is a catalog of every Git command ever invented. If you have familiarity with Git, and your favorite thing to do with Git is not in this course, I'm sorry, but we have created a subset of Git commands that make sense to get started quickly and be productive with the tool. This is also not a GitHub course. We're not going to go over every single thing you can do with GitHub, and most of what we do until the very end is going to be agnostic as far as remote hosting services is concerned. It also is not an intro to the Linux command line. If you're not comfortable with Linux command line, I strongly encourage you to go check out our course on the Linux CLI before taking on this course. We have several learning objectives for our course here. First, we're going to talk a lot about Git skills and concepts, including commits, what they are and how to make them, branches, merges, remote repositories, and pull requests. We're also going to talk about how to use Git for project management and for documentation. If you want to be successful in this course, other than a good work ethic and the ability to pay attention, you're going to need a little bit of familiarity with the Linux command line. As I said before, if you don't have that already, go ahead and check out the short course on the Linux CLI that we have available for you. It, like this course, is free. It will also be helpful if you have some familiarity with Vim, although that's not actually necessary. Good news, we also have a course on Vim. In terms of materials, you're going to need Git. If you're using a Linux computer or a Linux virtual machine like the Taggart Institute machine that we provide for you, Git's already installed. You don't have anything to worry about. Any Linux computer will do. Mac OS, you should be okay as well. You may have to install the Xcode command line tools. And Windows users, I strongly encourage you, even though you can install Git for Windows, to use Windows Subsystem for Linux. It's going to be much easier to have a one-to-one interface with what I'll be demonstrating using WSL. You'll also, in the setup, be instructed to fork the Creating with Git repository. We'll walk through that soon, so you're going to need that as well. Also, the entire text of this course is available at cwg.taggartinstitute.org, and you might want to have that up and handy to follow along. That's it for our introduction. Welcome to the course. In our next lesson, we will set up our course and get ready to begin learning Git.